Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole, and today we are doing a flip through of March in my Hobonichi A6 journal. If you follow me over on Instagram, you might recognize this journal. I have posted about it quite a bit, I would say, for me at least, relatively over on Instagram. But if you are only following me over here, you might be seeing this and being like, where did this come from? I've never seen this, you don't use this, and that's so valid. I have not shown this over here on YouTube yet, but I am now. And I will give a somewhat short explanation of why I am in this. It honestly boils down to like two small things and one big thing. So the small things is that one, I had this book. I actually purchased the Hobonichi Avec set back in September of 2023. It was a part of my original order directly from Hobonichi. I purchased the Little Gifts cover in A6 and I threw in the A6 Avec books as an option because I was already paying shipping. It was pretty cheap through the website. So I picked it up and it just never ended up making my final lineup, and I just put it away. I didn't sell it. I kept it and it was available to me. So the second thing is that I also cleaned off my bookshelf, and in doing that, I flipped through all of my old planners, and specifically my Hobonichi A6 Avec from 2021 and my Hobonichi Cousin Avec from 2022. And I was genuinely missing that. I don't think I realized how much until I flipped back through those. There was also that kind of brewing ever since I had cleaned out my bookshelf. And then end of January comes around. All of this is brewing in my head, and then this comes out. And here, let me take it out of the cover so I can show you. But look at this cover. It is so cute. It is the Shibata Kaiko Hobonichi cover of cats on pieces of bread flying through the sky. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And when I saw this, I was not an A6. I had no reason to get it, but I knew I had to have it and I knew I had to use it. So after I saw it, I basically ordered it, right? From, I think I got this one from Yoseka. And since I made that decision, I pulled out this guy and I started using it. So this would be about the end of January. And so throughout February and March, I was backfilling what I had missed from January. So that is why I have not shown this here in a flip through style video, is because it was never at any point done until now. I would say I'm pretty much overdoing January now. So it is what it is in terms of backfilling up to this point. I'm done. So I would say that this is in its most complete status, and you can see it's chunky. I use stickers and washi tape and put in ephemera with reckless abandon, I would say, in this journal. Because it is the Avec, I feel a little bit more freedom to do that without compromising the writing experience. Although I will say I do have to pull this out of my cover whenever I'm genuinely like using it, in a sense that like I'm doing a bunch of pages and writing a lot, because it is getting a bit tricky and I definitely need a flat writing surface. But I am going to not stop anything that I'm doing going forward. I am still going to be using all of the stickers, washi, ephemera, and hopefully I can have just the chunkiest book that you've ever seen. So yeah, that's a little bit of the backstory of how we got here. So today we are flipping through March only. So I know that I have not shown January and February on here, but it is April 6th, the day that I'm filming this. So I kind of feel like the window might have closed for January and February. When I do the final flip through of this book, I will include January and February, obviously. And if you're interested in seeing some of those pages, I do have a reel over on my Instagram of January and February, so you can go and check that out if you're interested. So for the sake of time in this video, because I do like to be a bit chattier when I am talking through flips, I am just going to do March, and I hope that that is okay. But if it's any consolation, I do feel like March has my best pages in it, or at least the least number of pages that I hate, which I'm taking as a win. So without any further ado, because I have talked literally so much already, let's hop in and flip through March. All right, so we can I guess, start here with the last day of February, because it is a segue into starting March, specifically because the beginning of March for me is a bit different than what a typical day would look like because I was on vacation. So I left on leap day on the 29th of February. As you can see, I have a plane. And then I was on vacation up until the 7th. So in terms of content of these first couple pages, it is a little bit different than what I would do in every day, like in terms of I have more pictures, I have more stories, that kind of thing. Like I said, I was in California and I went to Daiso. So where I live in Ohio, we do not have Daiso. So this was a big moment for me. I got to see what everyone was talking about, and I definitely picked up quite a few things, an embarrassing amount of things perhaps, but I went ahead and made a swatch page on this monthly title page of everything that I got from Daiso. And typically I don't use this page, so I was happy to get a little bit of use out of it with that. And then on the first, this was my first full day in California. We flew out on Thursday, but we got there pretty late. So the first was our first full day, and we were visiting some of my mom's side of the family out there, and we got dim sum, which I have been looking forward to this ever since knowing about this trip. We have dim sum places in Ohio, but they're just fine. They're nothing special, I would say, at least compared to what you can find out in California. And I was so excited. It was so good. We went multiple times a day, pretty much every day that we were there, and it was totally worth it. And I never got sick of it, but I definitely had to do a sort of spotlight page for dim sum because it was so good and I miss it already. So yeah, we've got dim sum on the first. And then on the second was the main reason we were out there was for a family reunion. So I put a big picture of all of us on here, and I've just kind of blacked out any faces of people in here just for privacy purposes. So if you see like smiley face washi, that's what it's covering up. But this is a page I would say might be unfinished. I do definitely want to write a little bit more about the family reunion here. I just never got around to it because I was like half doing these on vacation, and then I was doing them like half here when I could like print stuff out and stuff. So I never got around to writing this, but I am happy that even if it stays like this, I am happy with it because I would say like a half finished spread is still better than nothing. Like if I had just never done this because I wasn't going to finish it, I do think that it is valuable to at least have the partial parts of the spread done, even if the entire spread is not complete. And I feel like that's something that I've really grown with because normally like a year ago, I wouldn't have even started if I wasn't going to finish. So I am happy with the personal growth there, I guess you could say. And then on the third, I would say this might be in my like top 5 favorite spreads of March, or in this entire book, to be honest. I just love the way this turned out with the stars and the little like dash line. You're gonna see a lot of recurring themes in this planner because once I find something that I like, I tend to like perhaps overdo it. So one of those things is going to be post-it notes. Anytime you see colored paper with writing on it, it is a post-it note. I love using post-it notes. I love the conveniency of having post-it notes, the color options of post-it notes, and the fact that they're sticky on the back. So if you use the right section of the post-it note, you don't need adhesive. And you're gonna see that multiple times through this. Outside of even the usefulness of post-it notes, I love the effects that they have here. So this day was our last day in California, and it was so cool for me personally because I was able to stop by the Baumkuchen storefront. It's such a cute store, and they had these like stamps that were set out that you could use. So I went ahead and stamped the day while I was there, and then I just kind of worked around that, and I just love the way this turned out. I think it's super whimsical. And this was the day that we left California and went to Las Vegas. And then the 4th was our first full day in Las Vegas. The main thing that stuck out to me about this day was my Dunkin' order, which happened to be $46, which is insane. And I posted about this on my Instagram, and a bunch of you commiserated with me, so thank you for that. And then I also took this photo of the sphere. It was this big thing I wanted to see in Las Vegas. Everyone I was with was like, why do you want to see it so bad? We saw it when we drove in. And I was like, no, we need to go like see it. It's iconic. And we didn't go in because I do feel like I would have gotten vertigo maybe if I had gone in and like thrown up. But the outside was very cool, and I highly recommend you going to see it if you're in Las Vegas. It's very cool. I know that might be a controversial opinion. I'm not sure how people feel about the sphere in general, but I think it's really, really cool. And I mean, it's Vegas. Like, is it that out of place? I mean, there's pyramids and stuff, so whatever. Also, if you want to know where any supplies are from, I'm really going to focus more, I believe, on the stories and the process and general overarching themes of how I set these pages up rather than talking about the individual products that I used, but if you do want to know about any individual products, leave a comment down below with either like the timestamp of the video or the date of the page, and I will definitely let you know where anything is from. So on Tuesday, I had a horrible day at the casino. It was so bad. It was embarrassing even, I would say. Like, the dealer was even starting to feel really bad for me. And if you're at all familiar with 3-card poker and how that game works, you know that it's not really a skill issue. Like, there's no skill really truly involved in 3-card poker. It was just, I was having such bad luck and all like so quickly, and it was kind of a disaster. So we didn't stay very long. And then we ended up going to an outlet mall, and I indulged in a little bit of retail therapy, which might not have been the most financially conscious decision, seeing what had like literally just happened, and I found a card holder that was on sale, and it's my first like true luxury piece, and I love it so much, so I had to definitely document that here. So this is just the tag from the card holder. And then on the 6th, for whatever reason, I was a woman possessed, I guess. I went back to the 3-card poker table, and I ended up having better luck, and I ended up winning a bunch of my losses back. And by the end of the day, between that hand, which is right here, it's so funny, I actually had a sticker from it. This is from Pipsticks. It was originally like hearts. The suit was hearts on these, but the hand that I had was a ace 2-3 of diamonds, so I just kind of used a red paint pen to fix that and make it a diamond. And then I put this speech bubble that said, "You know what you are? You're Even Steven" from Seinfeld. And that's like a joke between my dad and I. We quote that to each other all the time. And when I ended up like making all my money back, we just kept saying it back and forth. So I definitely had to put that in once again on a post-it note. You're gonna also find that speech bubbles are a big theme running through here. I love using speech bubbles. I think they add such like a graphic element to the spread while also being incredibly useful because I use them for a lot of quotes. So some more pictures from this day. On Thursday, this was the day that we came back. So you'll see also that I do tend to stick to generally 1 day per page, but if a day has more or less, I will overflow. So you'll see that Wednesday a lot happened. So I took this entire page plus the column here all for Wednesday, and then I just did Thursday as this side of the page. So I have my luggage tag, and then this is a vinyl of a Jake Shake because this is around the NHL trade deadline and the Penguins traded Jake Edsel, so definitely had to, you know, memorialize that here because there will be no more Jake Shakes. So on Friday, I went back to work, and now we're more into generally what this journal is going to look like going forward outside of big events like that, more of the everyday type of documentation. So on Friday, I went back to work, and when I got there, apparently I did not do a good job of communicating when I was coming back because everyone thought I was coming back on Monday, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I didn't think you were coming back." And it's like, it just kind of made me honestly like annoyed because it's like, why was I there? I could have just come back on Monday, but whatever. Save the PTO day. Everything worked out. But in terms of the spread, this was a bit of an experiment. I was trying really hard to break out of the mindset that every single shade of every single color had to match. So you'll see I started off with these pink and orange, and then I brought in this sticker. And then I was like, oh, well, this has orange, and well, this has red, so this one has red. And then I just kind of threw a bunch of stuff together. I don't hate it. I think it could have ended up looking a little bit better and more cohesive, but I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever done. And I do enjoy looking at it. It's just a little bit chaotic, and you know, sometimes that's okay. On the 9th, so while I was at Daiso in California, I found this little tomato hat. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it on my cats long enough to take a picture, but I did get it on Oscar. He was a little trooper, and he let me put it on him and take a picture. So I definitely had to blow that up, make it the whole spread, put a couple stickers on it, and it's perfect. So love having this in here. He's so cute. So the 10th looks like it was the Oscars. So I actually don't ever watch award shows. I just follow along on Twitter. But I definitely wanted to document it because it was all over Twitter. It was very funny. So I did more of my speech bubbles on my post-it notes. Once again, extended the page into Monday. And then on Monday, I just have this big screenshot of when the Steelers signed Russell Wilson, which was kind of crazy. So on the 12th, I had very mixed feelings about this page. I think I like it, but also I don't know if I like it. So I think what happened with this page was I didn't really have much to say, but I had already printed out the images really small and I didn't want to reprint them. So I was like, we're just going to work with it. So I was trying to fill a bunch of space, and apparently on this day I did not like white space. I think you'll see that sometimes I don't mind white space. Not every single inch of the page has to be filled. I'm okay with having pages empty. Like I said, this is like almost half empty, and this is one of my favorite spreads. But on this day, apparently I just was not having the white space. I had to fill up every inch of the page. So I just threw a bunch of stickers on it, and I think it works okay, but also like it's a little disjointed, but it's still fun to look at. I still like that I included things even though they weren't perhaps the size that I wanted them to be, but that's okay. On the 13th, I did a page dedicated to the best episode of television, in my opinion, of all time. While I was in Las Vegas, there was a Bones marathon on the hotel TV, and I knew we were close to this episode because if you don't know, Bones is my favorite show. I've seen it so many times, but we didn't end up catching this episode. So when I got back, of course, naturally, I had to watch it. So it's just a spread dedicated to that. And this like TV situation here was definitely inspired by Ammie of ammie.lol.e on Instagram and on YouTube. Definitely check her out if you haven't. She did this sort of style in one of her videos, and I was like, that is perfect for this. So had to use that inspiration. On the 14th, this is a very, I would say, minimal spread compared to what we just looked at, but I really like it. This was apparently the day that the Penguins just like lost 20,000 bobbleheads. Someone literally stole them out of a truck. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever, because at this point the organization was not doing like great in terms of like on ice production either. So it was like kind of just really funny. It was like everything was falling apart. So I had to document that, and I included a screenshot from Jaromir Jagr's, because they were Jagr bobbleheads. And he posted this picture because this was also at the time that Princess Kate, that whole debacle was going on. So I thought that was really funny. And then there was an article about it that was also hilarious. So I included screenshots of that. The 15th, nothing happened in my actual life in 2024. It was so boring. I was looking through my phone trying to find something from this day, like searching the dates in my photo library. And I came across these photos from 2020. This was my spring break trip, my senior year of college, right before the world shut down for COVID. So it was March 10th to March 14th, 2020. So I figured I would put this in here as sort of like a from the vault section, because I actually never got to document these this way because I was not journaling this way back on this trip. I did not start journaling like this until later in 2020, and then I was basically like moving forward at that point, so I didn't go back and journal this. So these pictures have only ever lived on my phone, but so I decided to put them in here for a place for them to live, because I love these pictures, I love this memory. And I put this title here, it says Heute in der Geschichte, that's German for today in history. It is technically like not today because it wasn't the 15th, it was like this week in history, but I took German for 4 years in high school, and every single day my teacher would start off class saying Heute in der Geschichte, and he would have like a fact about the day. So whenever I think about things in history, that is always the first thing that comes to mind, so I wanted to title it that. On the 16th, this was when Justin Fields got traded to the Steelers, like literally like what, 5 days after we signed Russell Wilson. And as an Ohio State alum who is a Steelers fan, this was a big day for me. So it definitely needed the whole page. Apparently also nothing else happened on this day, which is fine. If you can't tell, my life is actually pretty boring. So the A6 size is perfect for that, because if you just print things really big, you don't have a lot you have to say. So that's my tip for you if you want to get started on something like this, but you're not positive that you have enough stuff in your life to document it. You can do it, I promise. On the 17th, I think the last day of the month, which we'll get to when we get there, is my favorite spread, but this is like a close second, if not tied for first. This is a spread dedicated to the purchases I made with my tax return. So I got my tax return, I believe earlier this week, and on Sunday I went and spent it. Not all of it, you know, we got to be a little bit responsible here. But I did spend a big chunk of it that I always set aside to spend on fun purchases. So I took these pictures online of the things that I bought, and I blew them up. And then I just wrote a little bit about each of them. And I love the way this turned out. This is an instance where I think the chaoticness works. Where back on the, I know I keep flipping back to this spread, but I think there's a difference between this spread and this spread in my mind. I actually think they look really cool together. I do wish that they kind of would have lined up a little bit like that. Maybe it's just these two together that I don't like, but I think that this worked out a lot better. I think the colors really played off of each other very well. And I think I just maybe had better stickers in mind. I think there's more of a variety of what I'm using in here that makes it work. I'm not exactly sure. I just know that this one looks better to me. So I really, really like this spread. On the 18th, I bought a new rug for my living room. I was very excited about it, especially because it was only $40. And if you're at all familiar with how much rugs cost, that's pretty cheap. And I really like it. I love this style of rug. You can kind of see it in this picture right here. That's what it looks like. I really like it, so I had to document it. And once again, I think I was actually watching an ammie.lol video when I did this spread and this spread, like the one with the TV. That's another thing I wanted to point out, is that I do not work chronologically. Most of the time I'm jumping back and forth doing a couple pages at once and not even like finishing one page before moving on to the next. I'm like literally constantly jumping back and forth. What I wanted to document for Monday, and then on Tuesday it was election day. Not much else happened. On the 20th, this was the Otani betting scandal. This was the day that dropped, if you're at all familiar with that. So I just kind of did a brief synopsis. I mean, there's a lot that's going into this story, and I have like, you know, a little screenshot of an article here. This story is so funny to me. I know it's very serious, but it is also incredibly funny. So wanted to document that. And then on the 21st, this was March Madness, or the first day of March Madness, also known as the most unproductive corporate work day of the year. So I had a bracket this year, so I went ahead and taped that in. It's horrible. Please don't look at it. It's embarrassing. But then I also decided I wanted this like little tab here. So this is actually a sticker that I put like halfway off of this and then put some like paper on the back so it wasn't sticky anymore, to kind of make like a tab. And then when you opened it up, it's like in the middle, if that makes sense. It's not super functional as a tab, and I tend to just pick it up from the corner anyway, but I do think it's like a nice little touch there. The rest of this day, I had the best French fries ever apparently this day. They were from McDonald's, which is hilarious, I think, because I've also, I think, had the worst French fries I've ever had from McDonald's. So the bell curve on those is insane. But those specific French fries on that specific day, I must have thought were amazing. Now we have some blank spreads. I genuinely can't remember what happened on this day. I have no recollection in my head or my phone, so they're just staying blank at this point. If I ever come across the need for a 2-page spread, I'll come back here and use these. Otherwise, these are probably just gonna stay blank because I genuinely have nothing. I have nothing to say about these days, which is kind of sad. I don't know what happened to them. On Sunday, I just got my nails done. Hello. And I had the perfect sticker, I felt like, for this because they were like the exact same color nails. So I thought that was funny, so I had to include that. On Monday, it looks like a lot happened here. Pirates opening day roster was announced, and I was very excited about it. I got really anxious and did my state taxes at 7 a.m. I don't know why I got anxious at 7 a.m. and decided to, instead of getting ready for work, just do my taxes and then rush to get ready for work afterwards. I don't know why I did that, but yeah. So like the return that I spent earlier this month was like my federal return. I don't file them all at once. It overwhelms me. So I do them separately. I got lunch with a coworker. We went to a Mexican restaurant. It was very good. And then that night I had a game night on PlayStation Party with my friend, and we played the F1 game. That was very fun. And I thought it was really funny because neither of us had ever played this before. This was the first time for both of us. And our first race had so many incidents on the incident report. It was so funny. So I had to take a picture of that and include it in here. This day, the main thing of the day was that the office had free bags of full-size M&Ms in the break room, and I thought that was awesome. So I definitely got one, and I put it in here saying it was the only thing getting me through the day because this was a pretty busy week at work. So let's see what else. Brian Russ got a goal in the Penguins game. This day, the new Camila Cabello song came out, and my friends and I had a very intense discussion about it and whether we thought it was good or not. So I had to include that. We got a coffee. What else is new? The 28th was opening day. I will say this page is decidedly not done. I will be coming back to this page to fill in this bottom portion. I know exactly what I want to do. I want to write something here. I just didn't get around to it, and that's fine for right now, but I will be coming back. I would say the rest of these, with the exception of obviously this one, are pretty much done. Like, I'm content with them. I might come back later in the year to like add a little bit here and there as I either remember or find like a sticker that I want to use, but I would be content calling the rest of these spreads done. This one is not done. I am coming back to it. But this was opening day, my favorite day of the year. I love this day. It's great. So definitely had to document opening day. I have the box score from the game. I have this chart that I posted on Instagram. It was a crazy game. I had a great time watching it. I'm very excited for the season. Something feels different. I'm not going to elaborate because if you're familiar with the Pirates, you know that they are horrible. And this might just be me getting my hopes up, but I'm very excited. So on Friday, I had the day off from work. I need to add that. And then I basically spent the entire day playing Harvest Moon. I am obsessed with this game. I know Stardew Valley was meant to be a better version of this game, but I hate Stardew Valley. I think it is directionless and pointless and annoying. And I know that that's an unpopular opinion. Everyone loves Stardew Valley. I understand that that is a me thing, but I could never get into Stardew Valley, but I tried this and it is so much better for me. It has directive, it has instruction, it has storyline that is easily available for you to find. It's great. I love it. I spent like 5 hours playing it this day. And what I want to put here are screenshots of my farm and my animals and my character and everything like that. But I do need to go back into the game and take those. And I have not been able to play it since this day. So that's why this spread is unfinished at the moment. Another blank page. I do once again know what I need to put here. I just have not gotten around to printing things out and putting them in, and that's fine. And then on Sunday, this is probably my favorite page of the entire book. This was Easter. I just love the way that this came together with the colors and the screenshots. I think everything worked perfectly together. Not everything is the same style and not every color is the same shade, but I think the way it's put together, it just works so well. I think this is the best that I've done in that sense. Like, you know, like this versus, where is it? Like, I think you can even see the improvement within 1 month of doing this. Like, I think, you know, I love this page and it's probably one of my favorites. So that brings us to the end of March. I hope you enjoyed this chatty flip through of my journal. I'm happy to be back here on YouTube. If you've stuck around my channel through all of my crazy, insane, arbitrary breaks that I take, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. If you want to subscribe, I would be very, very grateful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.